Have you ever felt like if you're going hollow, as if your life went from being some enjoyment to being a to-do list, you know? That's kind of how I've felt these past 2 months. Maybe a little longer, to be honest. But life went from enjoying absolutely every moment that I could and putting everything behind walls to finding it hard to find enjoyment in or just being happy. It's been a little difficult these past few months. Now, this isn't a sob story. This isn't for you guys to feel bad for me or for you guys to feel like you have to message me. The messages that I have received when I went on my little social media break those 5 days, of course I cherish them in my heart. Thank you so much to everybody who did message me. But I guess what I'm trying to say is these past few months, actually I think this past year or and a half, I feel like at some point I lost myself. There's a lot of things that I didn't deal with, and a lot of things I didn't back then either. A lot of death, people who passed away, that meant a lot to me. I never really dealt with all those things. I kind of just hid them behind some walls and kept building up. I thought the only way to go was up. I thought time would heal everything. But the closer it would come to those dates, the things I never made peace with would start to kind of break through the walls that I was building, and I would kind of go right back to rock bottom. And it was pretty difficult. And I guess in the month of June, this last month, I received so much news. Not all bad. Some news was wonderful to hear. I was ecstatic. Some news was very hard to hear, and some news was just news, I guess, but it all came with a lot of emotion, either super excited and ecstatic or sadness. It wasn't all bad, but it was definitely a lot of emotion. Also, in June and July are kind of the hardest months for me. There are some things that happen during these months that I haven't made peace yet with. Like I said, I kind of just hide it behind some walls and keep building up, And I kind of started to notice that no matter how hard you try to build, these skeletons in the walls are always going to find a way to come back, to haunt you, and to stop you from moving on. And I was kind of done with it. But the thing was, I didn't really know how to deal with the situations. And, I feel like you kind of have to find your own way to deal with things. Nobody's the same. Nobody is I guess having an outlet. I used to have an outlet, but I realized that this past year and a half, I haven't really had an outlet. I didn't have a way to calm down. I didn't have a way to stop my mind from just completely overthinking every situation. I would kind of just, again, put everything behind walls and let time heal and keep building. And I guess it got to the point to where everything that I thought I had left behind, everything that I thought I had made peace with, actually ended up coming back. And it all came back heavy. I can't even explain to you the amount of emotion. It's like the skeletons in the wall were finally breaking the walls and finally coming through. And somehow I'm at the bottom, just watching everything fall. Kind of just finding, and this wall, it don't look too good. It looks rushed. In my head, this wall doesn't look like a nice, or well, I guess instead of wall, this building that I'm building doesn't look like a really nice museum. It looks like that creepy house in your neighborhood that you used to think was haunted as a kid. I was kind of just rushing through everything with Saunders Sesh, Project Nakama, with inviting people to be a part of this when I didn't know if they even really wanted to or what they were really going to do or their intentions. Not saying that people I've invited haven't helped me. They've been more than enough help. But everything was so rushed. I was just straining myself emotionally, trying to constantly be better than the person I was before, without really understanding the person I was before, I wanted so hard to change. I wanted to change so bad. I wanted to be the person that everybody wanted me to be and the person I wanted myself to be. I always wanted to be a good brother. I always wanted to be a good cousin. I've always wanted to be a good friend. Eventually a good husband, boyfriend, or whatever comes along. Dad, grandpa. I wanted all these things. Without realizing what I am now. I kind of just like, I got to get better, but what am I trying to get better at? I was just moving so fast that these walls broke easy whenever it came to the month of June, where I had the worst experience of my life. Seeing a friend not wanting to be on earth anymore and doing what he did and being at the hospital, hearing his parents talk about if they're going to pull the plug, doctor saying, oh, he can hear you, when I knew that he couldn't, you know. I never got those final words. But I thought I dealt with that. I thought I was okay to move on from that, but honestly, that and along with some other important people in my life who had passed away, these memories just come back. And with all the news I was getting now and during the same time, it kind of just all like a huge wave just knocked down all my walls. And it sucked. All these problems that I thought I dealt with, only to notice that I put them aside, started crawling on me and pulling me down, making it hard to smile when the day actually wasn't that bad, you know. Even at work, people were worried and asking if I was okay. And I understood why. I'm not usually like this. If you know me, I'm usually very happy, smiling, goofing around, just being goofy, you know. I'm always happy to meet new people or meet or get reintroduced to people. But this time just hurt. It was different. Because of that, I didn't notice that I was not hurting people around me, but I can tell once I realized that at some point I lost myself and slowly started to go down this whole, I can see the people that I used to hang out with, emotions were different. They weren't the same. People weren't as happy and smiling. People were going through their own things, and I was like, dang, like, I want to be there for them. I always want to be there for as many people as I can. I'm that person. I help people and I don't expect anything back. Because I don't know, I guess I felt like they couldn't count on me, you know? After I just helped them out and was there for them. It's weird. It's like always asking somebody to, like, you always want somebody to ask you, hey, I need help, you know, and be like, oh, of course I'll be there. But then feeling like you're just not enough, or not being proud that you were that good friend that was actually there, you know? Let's go back, because I feel like I'm drifting off a bit. Sorry. Let's go back. So I was feeling like my walls were coming down, and an image was like if you fell in a well and the bricks from the well just start falling down, and these huge skeletons' arms just try to grab you and start covering the exit, as if you feel like you have nowhere to go. That's kind of how I've been feeling. And because I had nowhere to go, but life still goes on, you know? People always say life still goes on, and it's very true. No matter what you're going through, life still goes on. It's not going to wait for you. It's not going to wait for anybody. And so while I was constantly stuck in my head, overthinking and dealing with all this emotion. My life became a checklist or to-do list. Go to work, go to soccer practice, go home, watch YouTube, go to sleep, go to work, go play some other sport. They just became a checklist. And even though I was myself still trying to find enjoyment in all those things, still trying to be happy, still trying to cheer people up, trying to make people laugh, my real person, I don't know how to say it, my persona, the face that I put on around people was always very it was always still there. I was still making people laugh, having fun times. But deep down inside, it kind of just felt as if nothing was moving. And I wouldn't say I was completely depressed, because I wasn't moping around. I mean, I know there's different levels of depression and anxiety, but I wasn't really moping. I was still trying my best to build this house back up to what it was. And I would feel like I would get so high, or I would almost be done, and then it would all fall back down again. At the time, I let two people who meant the world to me paint a very negative picture of myself. And if you see one of my Instagram stories, I'm always posting quotes and stuff, but there was this one that said, "You become what you think," or something along those lines. And because these two people painted an image of me that my friends and family would tell me wasn't correct, it still hurt. Because these two people meant the world to me, and I thought I meant the world to them. And so I would constantly just think, why? What did I do? Why do I feel why do they feel that way? Did I mess up? Did I really do something? Am I really that bad of a person? And even though I would continue to tell myself I'm not that person, deep down inside, I would just be like, if you're not that person, then why would they say something like that? And it ate me up more than I thought. I thought time would heal, so I tried to stop thinking about it. But I noticed that anytime somebody would mention their names, I would be extremely cruel, because I was holding a grudge. I was extremely rude, or be like, I don't give a fuck about them, or man, fuck them type thing. I would just be super aggressive to their names even being said around me, because I was mad. I was mad that I don't know what I was mad at. Maybe I was mad at myself, because I started to believe the picture that they painted of me. And I think that's when I started to lose a lot of self-value. A lot of self-value. I started to just think about life in general, and really found no reason to be proud of anything that I've done. A lot of things I usually attempt, I don't ever finish. I quit. And when, I don't know. It's just weird. It was really hard to be proud of anything that I did, accepting the picture that those two painted of me. I think the grudge that I was holding on to and the pain and the overthinking started to become my reality. And I noticed that whenever I would get really close to somebody, or because whenever we started Sonder Sesh, a lot of people wanted me to interview them, a lot of people who were very close to me, but I didn't want to interview anybody close to me. I wanted to interview complete strangers. And I guess the reason that I didn't want to interview anybody is I would tell people like, oh, y'all not ready. Like, y'all still living life, going through stuff. But I should have just told them the truth. In reality, I'm not ready to deal with somebody who's close to me's emotions, because I didn't want anything added to that picture that was painted. The person that I thought I was, I didn't want to be hurt anymore, in a way. And I don't know what I would have been hurt for. I know I've done a lot more good than I've done bad. But it was just that fear of being in an interview with my mom or my brother. Just like that fear of them being like, oh, we were never really there. And it sucks. I don't know. I guess it's just a fear. Because I know deep down I'm always trying to be there as much as I possibly can. Try to help and support as much as I possibly can. But I was never ready to know the truth about the people around me. I was never people go through stuff, and I felt as if I needed to be everywhere with everyone at all times, which is completely impossible. But I always felt as if somebody went through something and I wasn't there to help, that was my fault. I try to carry everyone's heart and everyone's burdens. And for a while, not even for a while, even now I do. I'm getting better at it. It's a work in progress. But I try to hold everyone's pain. I try to hold everyone's heart. I don't ever want anybody to be sad. But that's just not the reality, So I took a lot of time to kind of just realize that I can't be everywhere at once. And that people go through stuff. Life is life. And if they want to talk to you, they will. If they don't, then hope that they speak with someone else. And things get worked out, I never want to be told, well, you weren't there for me. And I guess it's because I have such a hero complex. I think that's how you call it. I may be saying shit that doesn't make sense. But I have such a way of thinking that I have to be there. I have to help. But, sometimes people don't want your help. Or maybe sometimes somebody's already helping them. I like to be the stepping stone to help people elevate. I like to be part of the staircase to help people grow. I know I'm a good person, and my intentions are good. And I'm slowly learning to self-value myself, to really be proud of things that I did, like, it's crazy, but I wasn't even proud of the podcast, Sonder Sesh is doing pretty good. Even while I'm on break, people are still interacting and sending messages or liking posts. And yet, for some weird reason, I was not proud of it. I just felt like it wasn't enough. And that's when I started to try to do YouTube and make videos. Because when I was going through a pretty rough time in my life, there was this one YouTuber called Berleezy, or iBerleezy, and Joe Iko and his group, PG, and everybody that would like constantly have videos and would stream video games. And in the moment where I felt so alone, I would put their videos on in my room and kind of just watch them. And I wouldn't feel so alone. I felt like someone was in the room, I guess you could say. And I wanted to be that for people. But the thing is, I can't be 3 content creators at once. You know, I was watching like 5 people whenever I felt alone, just to feel like I was part of a community. And dang, someone's honking like crazy. But I couldn't be 3 content creators at once. I can't make YouTube and have a podcast and be on Instagram. It's just not possible to be everywhere at once. And one of the biggest things is like consistency. And I try to be consistent with the podcast. I try to be consistent with everything, but that's when I think I started to become a checklist where like I was believing this picture that somebody painted of me, that I was negative, narcissistic, an asshole. And it hurt. So I started to believe this because it came from 2 people that meant the world to me at one point in my life. And it hurt. So I was like, I don't want anybody to ever feel this way. I want to feel like people can talk to me about anything and I'm here for everybody. And I thought a way to do that was to continuously stream on Twitch and make YouTube videos and make a podcast and make interviews and archives and talk about myself so people can get to know about me or learn about me. But it was a lot. I even made this schedule that when I look at it now, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so unrealistic. Like, this is just so much time. And it started to feel like I was the only one putting in work. I was the only one actually willing to do something for the podcast, and nobody else was helping me. It felt like I was completely alone, which made it even worse. And because I already had a negative mind state, I was like, well, if they don't want to be here, they don't have to. I didn't say that, but I can think it in my head like, well, if they don't want to be here, then I don't want them, type thing, you know? And man, that took a toll. So then I started to try to do everything by myself for 2 weeks, or maybe like 3 weeks or a month. And I immediately got gassed out. I immediately just like, I couldn't do anymore. I couldn't. I was so out of it. Just like so, man, like I'm telling you, it was so unreal, very unhealthy, you know. And I had Andy, our video editor, being like, take your time on this stuff, like quality over quantity. I had so many people telling me like it's quality over quantity, like we need to do this right. And I'm just like, no, you're right. And I would listen to them, but I was so hollow and so full of myself and so arrogant, so negative, that I was like, that's just them saying that they don't want to fucking be here, or they don't want to work. And it would just like take a toll on me, because then I would start trying to do stuff and I gassed myself out, you know? I gassed myself out, and then all the news and emotions and time that all of this kind of just started to fall apart was even worse. And you know, there's a quote that I love from Bruce Lee, and I don't know exactly what it says, but it's something along the lines of, you want to win, but you don't even know how to lose. You don't even know how to die. It's not until you learn how to die and how to lose, you know, that one can keep going. Something along those lines. I can't remember it right now, but it was true. I think about it, and I've never really done anything in my life to have disappointed somebody. I've disappointed people along the way. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but it's usually always positive feedback. And I was dreading the day that Vontae would tell me something, or someone in the group would be like, we can't deal with your shit anymore. Like, you're asking for too much. Or somebody in the comments being like, this just isn't the same content as it was. Like, you know, like I was just like trying to make so much content so fast because I just wanted to get that over with. I wanted somebody to be disappointed in me because I was disappointed in myself. I wasn't even looking for people to be proud of me. I wasn't even looking for something to be proud of. I was just looking for somebody to confirm that I'm the piece of shit that I thought I was, and there's nothing to be proud of. And I never got that confirmation. Because maybe I'm not that person. But a lot of people have sent me messages, and thank you for those. And some people have mentioned some things that I've done for them that I didn't even know. Like, I never took notice, you know? And someone told me, like, sometimes we don't see the good things that we do. And so people started to tell me, like, you remember when you did this, or I appreciate you ever since this day where this happened. And I never noticed, or I never remembered, just because it was like second nature to me. As I said, I've always wanted to be there for people. I always want to be a person you can count on. And man, that was rough. You know, that was a rough time. Just everything felt like it was falling. But even when everything was falling, people would be like, you know, I'm here for you if you need me. But I didn't want to bother anybody. I didn't want to be able to bother. I didn't want to disappoint anybody. I didn't want anybody to see this side of me, because this isn't a side that I had or ever wanted to show. Vulnerability, I guess. I always wanted to be the strong person. I always wanted to be the pillar. I remember the day when I got the call, I cried that my friend, you know, shot himself. I was devastated. I cried. And then immediately I was like, I'm driving. I can't be doing this. I have to take the person who's with me home, and I have to call everybody, and I have to let them know, and I have to pick them up, and I have to take them to the hospital so we can all see, we can all be together. And that's what I did. I sucked it up because I'm the one who had to drive. I called everybody. I let them know what happened. Of course, there were some tears, but I was like, meet me at my house, or if you need me to pick you up, I'll pick you up. And we'll drive over there. I'll drive. Because I knew nobody else was in the condition to drive. And honestly, it's like my ego just came out, and I completely went hollow. I had no emotions. Even when I got there, we all went into the room together. And everybody was just kind of there looking at him. And his family pulls in and I'm just holding everybody who's crying. And I'm asking everybody if they're okay, if they need food, if they need water. I just remember being there or trying to be there for everybody. I always wanted people to think I was strong, you know? But recently I've learned that the strongest thing you can do is ask for help. Let people know how you feel. And never do anything alone, because you're not alone. You know? There's so much good in this world, but if you're only focusing on the negative, that's all you're going to see. I've learned that. Especially looking back at how my life has been, how blessed I am to have the friends that I have, and how I took a lot of things for granted, you know, a lot of friendships. And even though I can't go back and fix that, I can fix it now. So pretty much I'm just learning how to be proud of myself, find self-value, and I finally threw away the painting that was created of me, and I'm slowly just starting to create mine with all the messages that people have sent, with all the friends that I have and all the connections that I have. Everybody who has come into my life has been a blessing. And I'm slowly just letting go of all the grudges. And most importantly, forgiving myself for everything that I knew my younger self wouldn't approve of. Always trying to be a hero, you know? But it takes time. And it is mentally draining, you know, having to change your negative to positives. So, with that being said, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody who supported Sonder Sesh. And I'm sorry to everybody who I've called up for interviews and haven't yet followed through. But we're going to get there. And the reason I say that is because I've been checked out. If y'all haven't noticed, one interview we didn't even post because I was so checked out and so overwhelmed and hollow and so angry for don't even know why. I think the last two interviews I was kind of hollow as well. And you guys don't deserve that, and I definitely don't deserve that. And I will continue to come through with content. It may take a while. It may be a little slower. But this is something that I'm going to start doing stuff for me. And I hope you guys follow along. I hope you guys are here to stay. And I hope you guys learned a little bit more about me. I'm slowly learning to be proud of myself. And with learning that, I want to make content that's going to make me happy. Not content that's going to please others not content that, oh, I don't think this is enough. I don't think they said enough. Or I don't want to interview them because they don't have. I'm telling you, man, I was not in it. But I want to make content that I'm going to be proud of. So the interviews will come back. But they will be so much more different. So much more different. Longer. Because I felt like I rushed them because I was like, nobody wants a 3-hour podcast of us talking about random shit or dwelling out, or dang, this is about happiness. Like, we can't just randomly start talking about soccer or randomly start talking about movies or like, it's just like, I'm telling you, I was so worried about what everybody was going to think. I was so worried about like somebody just hitting me up and being like, man, this ain't the same. Like, this is so off topic. And I was so worried about so much, just worried about what other people thought of me. That's why I accepted that painting. But I'm making my own painting now with my people, and together or alone, however this goes, I can't wait to make the content that I love and I adore. And if somebody is with me making this content, I can't wait till we make content that you guys love and adore, because it has been a rough year. And we are a little more than halfway through. The holidays are coming. And I am ready to flip this around. It won't happen overnight. I know that. But for my Demon Slayer fans out there, I was feeling disheartened. I was feeling like I wasn't enough. And I had to set my heart ablaze. I had to relight the fire in my heart. And I had help from people. Some people brought the firewood. Some people brought the matches. Some people brought the leaves. So if you're ever feeling like you're not enough or disheartened or like everything's just fallen, just know that I will help you if you want to set your heart ablaze. Man, even your best friend will help you. You just have to be honest. You have to ask for help. Help someone start up that fire in your heart. You don't have to do it alone. Now, keeping it up and having it burn bright, that is up to you. There'll be people along the way who will bring more fuel, more leaves, more wood. And it's really going to be up to you if you want to accept that or not. So y'all set your heart ablaze. If you need help, you know where I'm at. Constantly posting a bunch of stories on Instagram. If you just know, there are always people willing to help. Someone will always be there to help you light the fire. And the more that fire burns bright, the more people you're going to attract, and the hotter it's going to get. The brighter it's going to get. The room won't seem so dark anymore. And now that I have this fire burning, I feel like I have the ability to start building that house, start building that museum in my head. Because this time I'm going to tell my story. I'm not going to let someone else tell it. This will be a museum of my paintings, not anybody else's. So thank you all for listening and being here. And for those of you who listen to this, especially family members, this isn't a cry for help. This is what I went through, what I'm going through, and how I'm going to fix it. I know a lot of people were worried whenever I was deactivating my Instagram and all the messages that were sent. Thank you very much. All the text messages that were sent. Thank you. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. But I am nowhere close to calling it quits. I think I also had a panic attack. Side note, P.S. And it was heavy. It wasn't as, I don't know, I guess I had a, when usually you see panic attacks on TV or something, you see how like chaotic they are and how like scary they are and how people freak out. Mine was not like that at all. Mine was like I was walking in Las Colinas and I just had this feeling that I needed to get home immediately. And my blood and body was so uncomfortable. And I was like, what is going on? I also haven't eaten. I haven't been eating that well for those 2 weeks. It was like a plate a day. Like this was so rock bottom that I didn't even want to eat. But I started to have like you need to go home. You need to get home right now. Like something's gonna happen. And I'm like, what's gonna happen? Like someone's gonna die. And I'm like, well, who's gonna die? What the hell's going on? And honestly, I didn't know what it was. I spoke to one of my very close friends, and they were like, I think you're having a panic attack. And I was like, no, panic attacks are like worse, aren't they? Like you can't breathe, because like the whole time my body was just going nuts, while in my head I was like completely calm. I was like, what do you mean, but my body's like, you need to go, this is uncomfortable. My head was like about to start spinning, and I was like, okay, hold on. And in my head I was trying to control everything, and I think that's when my body was just like, bro, you're going through a lot. And that was a warning sign. That was a warning sign. And I was just like, damn, like I need to start listening to my body. I need to start taking care of myself, because sometimes our self-conscious, well, maybe all the time, knows how we're really feeling, and we're kind of just like day by day pushing it to the side. Like, I can't keep doing that. So yeah, that was crazy. I never felt like that before, and really don't ever want to again. I know what anxiety feels like now. I know how it is to hit rock bottom, but I think I died. I lost myself. Now I can finally start winning, start building content that I am proud of, and start being proud of myself for what I've done so far and what I'm going to continue to do. This time I'll actually end it. So, thank you, everybody. We will come with more content, little by little, in the most high quality. I hope we come out here like Gucci or Louis Vuitton or Balenciaga, whatever. We're going to come out flying, ready. And I hope you guys are here for the ride. Now, these were all my thoughts. So, thanks for everything. I do have a bunch of quotes that really helped me throughout all this. And I will share those with you. One at a time. Every archive will be a different quote. So, thank you so much. Until the next one, stay golden.